What's up guys, welcome to a new video. In this video I'm going to show you the ultimate FX6 Cinema Camera Rig. I've been using this camera for over half a year now. I actually ordered it back at the beginning of 2022, but this took over a year to arrive. Now I even have over half a year shooting experience with it. I really like this camera, I really love this rig, and I'm going to show you how to build this amazing rig. So let's start by taking it all apart. So we have it all laid out right here in this nice grid, perfect for Instagram. We also have a top view camera. I hope you're not distracted by the light, which is kind of obstructing the view, but not really. I mean, you can see the microphone right here on the side, and there's just two cables right here, so you can basically see anything. I hope you're not bothered by that. So let's start with the camera brain itself, the FX6. This is actually really light, and I mean, throw it around. I probably shouldn't do this. And of course, the first thing you have to attach to it is the grip, which you can just attach by lining up the two white dots and then lock it in place. But actually, we don't want to do that because for our ultimate rig, this one is actually in the way for now. So let's take it off again and put it right here. We're actually going to start with the Tilta cage base plate for the FX6. So I'm going to turn the FX6 on its head and start by screwing in these two screws into the FX6. Now when it comes to the tools, it's actually really funny. Every screw needs a different tool, and even if it's the same tool, it's a bigger or smaller size, so you never know what to expect. It's always a surprise. Great. So I have the red Sidewinder here, also made a video on this one, link down below. And let's start by screwing in these two screws. Be sure to not screw in one really tightly and then the other one. Do it simultaneously. First one a little bit, then the other one again, so that it is nice and tight at the same time. Screw it in really tight, but not so tight that we break the camera. Okay, now we have the Tilta base plate on the camera. Let's do the grip next. So this is the normal FX6 grip. A lot of people complain about it because it's really light and it feels kind of cheap, but I actually like it. And of course you need it for the audio inputs on the FX6. So let's screw it in right here at the top. There we go. Tighten it up with the tools. And there we have the top handle on the FX6. Really strong. The next thing is the Tilta Top Plate, also a really great piece of equipment because it gives you a lot of very useful attachment points. You know where the sensor is by this marking, and it's also just for safety reasons because when you bump the camera somewhere, you have this metal piece that gets stretched and not the camera itself. So let's put it on top of here, fit it over the four holes, and then for these screws we need this tool again. So let's start by screwing in the screw on one side, then diagonally go to the other side and screw in this one like this, and this one. We can even do it with the fingers for the first couple of centimeters, and then tighten them all up like this. So now we want to connect the top base plate and the bottom base plate. So I'm going to put the camera on the side, and we have this small side handle which fits in right here and right here. And for this one, we need another tool, which is probably this one. Yes, I got the right one. So screw it in down here and then tighten it up. I hope I'm not entirely scratching my nice desk because this is sharp, hard metal edges. I think we're fine. We should be fine. Actually, oh damn, I think this wasn't there before. I'm gonna film you a close-up. This doesn't look nice. Well, now that I started it here, I might as well finish it here. Next thing we're gonna put in is this V-mount adapter for the Sony FX6, also made from Tilta, and it also attaches to all of the other cage things for the FX6. So you're just gonna put this dummy battery in right here where the normal battery goes in. Click it in, the click will confirm that it's locked in. Then we can open up this thing at the bottom and put in this cable. Fits in really good. And then to secure it in place, we have one more screw, which we drill into the top plate. For this one, we need another tool. Now we can put it onto the bigger base plate, which is the Zacuto universal base plate. I have this base plate since my A7S II rig, used it with the A7S III, and now I'm using it with the FX6. It's just a great base plate. I really love it. You have some rods. You can adjust the camera to your liking. So let's screw the Tilta base plate onto the Zacuto base plate. Base plateception. Just unlock it right here. Press this key to get it out. Now we have two more screws, so I'm going to turn it on its head again. A little bit annoying with the top handle right now, but it's fine. And now, of course, to screw the base plate in, I'm using the only logical tool that makes sense to me. It's not the red Sidewinder, it's not a screwdriver. It's of course a penny that we use to screw in the base plate. No matter how expensive the camera rig, we always use a penny for it. Great. Also make sure to screw them both in at the same time, otherwise it will get stuck. Screw it in really tightly so it doesn't wiggle around. Looking good, and now we can slide it back into the Zacuto base plate. Press this key and then lock it in place with this lever. Already getting a little bit bigger. Now we can finally attach the side grip. So again, line up the two white dots, turn it around until it's locked, and then we can adjust it to the place we like, and then put in the cable right here. Next, we're gonna attach the camera monitor, like the monitor that comes with the FX6. Screw it in on the top handle right here, and then put the cable in right here. And once we've done that, we can wrap the cable around the top handle right here and right here. We can adjust it later as we go on with the rig build, because of course we're gonna add some more parts. Okay, what do we add next? How about a lens? You can't film without a lens, so let's take the lens of my choice, which is the 24-70mm Canon lens. Canon lens, Sony camera, of course, we need an adapter. This is not a Mattebox adapter, it's a Commlite adapter. It's the cheapest adapter for 60 euros I found on Amazon back in 2016 to use with my A7S II. It got stolen one time when all my camera equipment and the A7S II got stolen, but I bought it again because it works and I don't see the point in using a Mattebox adapter if I'm not using autofocus. So let's put the lens into the adapter, then open up the camera and put on the lens really quickly so we don't have dust in the sensor. Next we could use some sound, so let's go ahead and put the microphone on the camera. For this we have to open it up right here and then we can put in the microphone. Sadly, if you're using not Sony but off-brand microphones, well, off-brand, this is a Sennheiser MK416, not really off-brand but it's not from Sony. I shouldn't point around like this with a €1,000 microphone. Well, but luckily Sony makes these microphone spacers so they don't wiggle around. I actually used this self-made gaffer tape microphone spacer for the longest time, and only now for this video when I'm taking it apart, I'm using this microphone spacer which I bought back in November. I hope it works just as fine as my own contraption, which I now use for over half a year. So let's put it in, close it, and hope it works. Well, I feel like it wiggles more than with my self-made option. Maybe I'm gonna put it back in. Hold on, I think I'm gonna use this one again. It just works better, so fuck that. Oops, yeah, this is tight. Now we don't have any wiggle space for the microphone. Maybe I should start selling these, because it's obviously a better product than the one Sony sells. If you want to buy it, comment down below. Now we have to connect the microphone to the camera, but first I'm actually going to put on these SmallRig clamps for the cables on the camera, which are really useful to get your cables on the camera rig organized so that it's not messy everywhere. For this one, I think I need this tool. So one is going right here and the other one is going down here on the side grip. Again, I can really recommend these clamps. They are really useful, and all of the products mentioned in the video are of course linked down below in the description. So now let's connect the sound to the camera. Of course the microphone output is right here and the sound input is right here and not back here like on some other cameras, so it's a little bit of a workaround. Anyways, start by putting in this cable into the microphone and this cable into the camera. And then we can wrap the cable around the camera with these nice cable clamps. So one goes right here and the other one maybe right here. Looking good for now. It's out of the way, can access everything, and it's not in the way. Perfect. Now let's add the monitor to the camera. For the monitor, I'm using the SmallHD Focus, also a monitor I bought back then for my A7S II, and now I'm using it on the FX6. Also a really light monitor, maybe I shouldn't do that. But anyways, I bought this SmallRig monitor clamp which goes into the cold shoe mount of the camera, so I have it in the middle because I normally shoot like this. So the monitor right here is very good. Also, if I want to have a monitor on the side or when I'm shouldering the camera, I also have this one. So let's start by screwing this piece into the monitor itself, lock it into place. Then we slide the battery into the monitor. Actually, what I'm planning to do in the future, maybe this is not the perfect cinema rig, I want to connect this monitor also to the backside here, so everything gets powered through the V-mount battery and I don't have to carry these extra batteries around. But for now, I'm just powering it with this battery. You could of course also use smaller batteries, but I'm going to use this big battery for now. So let's slide it into the cold shoe mount right here, screw it in like this, and then adjust it to right here. Of course, we also have to connect the monitor to the camera. This is a little bit tricky because this SmallHD monitor has one flaw, and that is that you can only put, I think, micro or mini HDMI cables into the monitor that are made from SmallHD, because they on purpose make these little brackets of pieces of plastic right here so that you cannot put bigger micro or mini HDMI cables into it, like when the cable is too big, you know, because this camera only takes normal HDMI as an input. Now I would buy a micro or mini, I don't know, HDMI cable to normal HDMI from SmallHD. Sadly, they don't sell one fitting this SmallHD Focus Monitor. So I had to buy this small micro or mini or whatever HDMI to normal HDMI, but the end piece of the cable was a little bit too big, so I had to cut it off so that it fits the monitor. Some people even have cut off this thing from the monitor, but I didn't want to do that, so I just cut it off the cable. Now we have this exposed copper, I think, which looks a little bit sketchy, but since it's all covered up from the monitor because it's so tightly in here, I think it should be fine. I mean, no finger human can touch it, no water should reach it. So I think we're good for now, I hope. But I wouldn't recommend doing it as well. So let's fit it in here. Always have to wiggle a little bit. There we go. And then we can also wrap it around here. Maybe even go around here. That looks good. And then plug it into the HDMI port. And now we have this rest of the cable right here, which we can just tuck into and wrap around the cable clamps. A little bit of a trial and error where it fits. Maybe first put in the monitor cable and then the XLR cable again. There we go. That's good for now. Maybe even tuck it behind this monitor cable so that it's an even smaller package. There we go. Nice and secure. Now we can add the Mattebox. For this, we just take the lens cap off, screw on this donut on the front of the lens, and then we can put on the Mattebox of my choice, which is the PolarPro Basecamp Mattebox with a nice little mist filter. Do you see the effect? Can't tell. Anyways, put it back in, lock it into place, and then put on the Mattebox. There we go, put this aside. And now the last thing we have to do is to put on the V-mount battery right here at the back side. So just lock it into place. Of course, I missed it the first time. There we go. V-mount battery locked into place, and this is the final Sony FX6 Cinema Rig of my choice. In my opinion, the perfect rig to shoot handheld, to shoot like this, even to shoot on your shoulder like this. And I bet if you pair this with an easy rig, which is my next investment, this will only make it better and take it to another level. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button and also consider subscribing right here on the FX6 for more videos just like this one. You can find more videos right here, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye. Yeah, well, goodbye.